Hey everybody, my name is Riley Newman. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to class today because of a medical emergency. I woke up with a really bad side effect to one of my medicines, and so I called my doctor's office, and we think it's interacting with my liver. So I have to run to the emergency room right after filming this and make sure things are okay. So, didn't want to let you guys down. Let's get into this. So, my PowerPoint is called Themes and Takeaways from Intoxicating Blackness. Let's get into it. So, my secondary source is named Intoxicating Blackness, Addiction and Ambivalent Sounds of Fugitive Life in James Baldwin's Sonny's Blues. It's an article written by Patrick F. Walter and is inside MELIS, the Multi-Ethnic Literature of the United States. So, what's the significance of this secondary source, and why did I pick it? The secondary source introduces sophisticated elaboration of complex themes, and uses our reading, Sonny's Blues, to communicate an argument. The argument is the idea that being open to intoxication and addiction, when all else is lost, can serve as an aesthetic element, allowing for the sensation of escaping. The rest of my presentation is dedicated to Walter's analysis of Sonny's Blues and how he supports his argument. So, Walter's view, racism as a theme. Walter makes an emphasis on the socio-economic influence of society and how it directly impacts struggles of addiction. Walter explains how systemic racism leads to difficulty in life in marginalized communities, and how this has an effect on mental health. This effect on mental health leads to vulnerability, which then leads to increased levels of drugs and people addicted to them. And the people addicted suffer from a loop lifestyle where they get to rock bottom, seek help, become better, but then pursue the drug again because they have no other choice. Walter also noted the influence this has on family relationships, family, friends, and work too, because people are not themselves when they're on drugs. And if they're never getting off the drug, they're never themselves. So, secondary source analysis. Walter states, Sonny's Blues and his heroin habit constitute a black subject at the very site of its annihilation. He elaborates this quote by then saying, subject to violence and complete humiliation, lacking in friends, the enslaved persist a state of complete incapacity and self-dispossession. So what does this mean? In his analysis, Walter describes the terrible life of one stuck in slavery, and how that life is remarkably like Sonny's. And this serves as the foundation of Walter's argument, to emphasize existing desire to be free, leading to escapism. Desire to be free because life feels like that of a slave. And that serves as a baseline that forces Sonny to resort to the main theme argued, drugs. So now, Walter's perspective as drugs as a theme. The effect of drugs. Sonny's voice, according to Walter, is conveyed as a sort of irrational number, and this troubles the narrator. This shows the narrator experiences personal pain when hearing Sonny's voice and learning about his lifestyle. Specifically, the narrator conveys this by stating, of ice water up and down my veins. And this serves as a significant metaphor because it just shows the pain, but also is describing what one would feel if they took heroin, the emotional response of the effects of heroin. Literary analysis. According to Walter, Baldwin's story formulates addiction and intoxication from the standpoint of the drug itself. Remember, this is the metaphor. So, what's the purpose of this metaphor? Walter wondered why the author chose to have Sonny choose as the drug to the narrator. And this is something I think the class should think about in their analysis. Was this an effective literary tool? And what did it do? Did it show the complexity of the relationship? Did it show Sonny's influence and how he was very powerful to the narrator? Or did it serve to mirror the perspective? To kind of flip the perspective and show the pains of being an addict on somebody who isn't the addict themselves. The pains of the bond you have with an addict. So, putting the themes together, Walter argues that the themes of drugs and racism work to symbolize the choice of pursuing drugs for the feeling of freedom. Walter sees drug use as risky yet liberating, and it is an escape from societal constraints. Similarly, racism is portrayed as a pervasive force that individuals must confront in their quest for liberation. So together, it's seen that these themes create a complex narrative reflecting the pursuit of freedom. It then shows how freedom is sought through drugs when all else is lost. And this ties back to Walter's argument. So I have some questions for you guys. First, I was wondering, do you agree with Walter's argument? And then, what other examples from American literature can Walter use to support his argument? And here's my works cited. Hopefully see you guys at the next class, and be awesome.